This is 2025, and when you talk about travel, we don't talk about travel like we did even in 2020. Even if you are someone who is highly skilled, it's good to go to a part of the world that supports skilled economy. What's up, guys, and how are you doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Raphael here, and as you can see today, we're going to be having a discourse as to the recent happenings in Europe and how we can navigate it. Now, as you can see from the poster up on my screen here, there's going to be a protest in Poland very soon. It is called an anti-immigrant protest. The fact of the matter is that this is a protest against immigrants. It doesn't matter whether you are legal or you're not legal. This is a protest against immigrants, and this is just a reflection of what has been echoing all across Europe. Now, without exemption, it's just most of the major cities in Europe, this has been echoing anti-immigrant sentiment, and it's not being helped by social media, which is also pushing this thing, boxing people into the corner. Everyone, who is anti-immigrant is in one corner, hearing the same thing, being fed the same thing by the algorithm, and they are getting more radicalized. Before we dive into the video, I'm introducing you to the masterpiece which you have made, which is the Encyclopedia of Europe Relocation. Now, this contains 47 countries in Europe, well cataloged alphabetically. Every single thing you need to know about the country when it comes to the cheapest schools, the visa types, when it comes to the job opportunities, how you can get these job opportunities, even to budgeting in this country. We have it all in this Encyclopedia of Europe Relocation. Today we're going to have a discussion centered around this and how we can reshape the dynamics for those of us who are still about to leave Africa and come over to Europe or travel outside the country, so that you can be aware of this and how you can prepare yourself more for the tasks ahead for you. If you're on the journey to travel right now and you want support and guidance through this journey, we have our WhatsApp and Telegram community. You can go into the description of this video and join them. We have over 1,000 people there, and you can get help and ask questions to people and get the daily updates that we provide people in the WhatsApp communities. This is 2025, and when you talk about travel, we don't talk about travel like we did even in 2020, even maybe let's say in the early 90s when you're traveling out of Africa to Europe. We don't talk about travel like that again. Right now, travel has changed. Relocation and moving outside abroad is not going to stop, but it has changed. For me, I consider that there are three most important things that must be looked at if you are traveling abroad from Africa in 2025. Now, I call them the why, the where, and the how. Why are you traveling? Where are you traveling to, and how are you going to get to that country? Let's start from number one, why. Now, asking yourself the question, why do I need to travel, is very important in 2025. Now, this is not just like the time, in the past where you just have to say, oh, I just want to travel because I want to travel, I want to get out of Africa, I want to get out of Nigeria, I want to get out of this country and just go to any available country. I just want to go. Why? You don't know. Now, mostly there are two routes. It's either you're going to study or you're going to work. Now, most people talk about business and the rest of them, but we don't. It's not mostly the reason why people want to travel. Most people want to travel either to go and study or to go and work, and most people don't even know why they want to travel. Your first thing you must determine before you travel is, why do you want to travel? Why do you need this so badly? Do you want to study? Do you want to go over to Europe and study, or do you want to go over to Europe and work because you have a degree or you have a skill that you want to put into the market? Why do you want to go there? Once you have determined your why, the next thing to do is, if you succeed in going over to the country of your choice, stick with your why. Africans, to be fair with you, most of us don't stick to the reason why we travel to Europe, and that is the bottom truth there, that sometimes rile up these people. People cling on to these things. Oh, you came to study but you're not studying, and it becomes a problem, right? If you have your why, you came here to study, you want to work. Once you have that figured out, the next thing to do is you do it. Stick with it if you make it into the country. Now, once you have your why carved out, the next thing you have to know is where. Where are you going to? Now, where in the world supports your why? There are some people, the why you have, the part of the world where you're going to doesn't support it. Now, somebody wants to go and study law. You want to go and study law, and that is your why. And then you go to somewhere like Poland or somewhere like Ukraine to go and study law. Why are you going to Poland to study law? Like, where will you practice it? You don't know how to speak the language. You don't know the possibility of you learning the language in the future. You want to go there. You don't even know the legal system there, but you want to go and study law in such a country. Even medicine. Some people go to become doctors. I know so many people who have studied medicine in Eastern Europe here that cannot practice. They have to either travel somewhere else and practice or whatever. But it is very important that you know where supports what you want to do. If you are someone who is highly skilled, it's good to go to a part of the world that supports skilled economy or that supports skilled people. If you're someone who is into education, it's good to go into a part of the world that supports education. If you're someone who is into let's say STEM, it's good to go to a part of the world that supports the growth of STEM. Having known your where, the next thing is how. How do I travel? How do I get to that place? Now, some people don't know if they need help from someone or if they can do it alone, right? And some people, the things they can do alone, they go and seek help from someone and they're either scammed or their money get lost or something like this. And that is why we have built the Encyclopedia of Europe Relocation. 47 countries compiled in one with bullet points, where you need to go to, how you can get there, what it will cost you to get there. Everything out to the bullet point, the cheapest schools, the job in demand, whatever you need to bootstrap your travel over to Europe, it is in that guide. This was done specifically for you if you are looking to travel over to Europe. Once you have your why and your where, the next thing you must look for, as I said, is how can you get there? Look at your budgeting. Do you have enough money to make this trip possible? How many years will it take you to get the visa? How will you plan yourself to get there? How will you integrate yourself when you come in with the community? Now, I know that immigrants and immigrant issues are not going to stop anytime soon, but I want to assure you that traveling would not stop. Relocation would not stop. Even those who are protesting, they are traveling over to other people's country. Therefore, we have to travel over to their country too to fill it up for them. So that is how the world works. Do not be scared, but just know these three important things: why, where, and how you can get there.